Welcome back to DG's Football, and today we are on live stream settings, and we'll be going through the Gold Cup Group C games, which consists of Jamaica, Costa Rica, and Suriname. I'm joined by JD from iMaxic Football, and he will give his expertise on both Suriname and Costa Rica, and also Jamaica as well. You can go and check him out at iMaxic Football on YouTube. Link will be in the description of the video. So how are you, JD?
I am here. Had a pretty much okay, really relaxed day. Trying to sit back and recoup myself over a very tough week, But we are here to talk football, so I'm alive and well because it's football.
Yeah, and that's very good. I'm good too. So I think we should just get straight into it. We have Jamaica, Costa Rica, and Suriname. What are your thoughts on all three teams?
Looking through the Costa Rican team, I would have to say they have a okay team that people ain't giving respect. You get me? And I think they have the experience over time, and they have some dogged players that will give you similar things to like a 80, but much more passing football. So they have the same drive and they have the grit. And that's what people talks about the Concacaf for. So these guys are always going to be a problem team to face. So I think it's going to just make the group tough, and they have to be considered as one of the top dogs in the group, regardless of whatever situation they do put themselves in, of winning games over a couple of years or whatever the situation is. You get me? They are going to always come up as top dogs. I will explain further later.
Okay. So I have Top Shutter here. Wagwan Delano. I'm good. Top Shutter. Thank you for coming in. Marlon, bless up. Okay, so you give a brief explanation on it, and I think I would lean towards everything that I would agree with everything that you said. I think Costa Rica are a very good team. Suriname as well, with the new with the additions that they have, and they are looking to do something in this Gold Cup. Jamaica as well. But let's dissect the teams a little bit further. How do you think? What is the approach you think Dean Gore will go into this group game with, despite the some players not in this team?
I think he's going to be respectful to both Costa Rica and Jamaica, because in the Canadian match, I think they went expansive, saying that, okay, we might have a better defense and we might have a competitive midfield, so we are going to only worry about your strikers. So if you eye up the pitch, you wouldn't get that opportunity to pounce on us. But it was a 90 minutes game, not a 35 minutes game. So for the first 35 minutes, your passing football worked. But once it gets to the jaded moment, the expansive football start to take effect with Alfonso Dino, which is pretty much energetic the entire day. Jonathan over pushed wide, and then you have Lauren interchanging with your pressing game. It jaded them over time. So I think he's going to learn something from that. And with him having players missing, will make Suriname even more difficult to defeat, because they have the ability to pass better than all of these teams, because they have the passers in the teams, and they have the composure and the total football straight through the team. But no, they don't have the extra additional players to be expansive fully. I think they're going to make it more compact and be even deadly on the counter, because they have players that are equally dangerous as everyone else in every one of the other teams, to be honest. So I think he's going to learn something, and them missing players just made them a little bit more difficult to defeat.
Yeah, and that's a very deep rundown. Joshan Johnson says, "Hey guys, hey, Joshan, how are you?" And I do think that they will pose a problem to us, and I think that Jamaica, for one, two, has in strengths, we have a lot of attacking forces, and but for the key areas, I think we face problems. I think it's for our midfield area. We saw against the Japan and Serbia game, albeit it was not full, all of those guys were in our first team, but they are part of the 23-man squad mentioned. So I think the midfield area for Jamaica would be a problem area for us. And Costa Rica too. I think Costa Rica defense line, I think they might be weak in that area with Callan now out with an injury. So I think they could face a problem in the defensive region as well.
I think overall they have solid players straight through. In the roster that they've actually selected, I saw good enough players that were composed and be ready to play very good. Francisco Calvo, 28 years old. He's pretty much a solid player. Gonzalez is there, he's experienced from LA Galaxy. I think he will offer something good yet again, and he's in the listing. Matarita, I told you guys about him, 26 years old, pretty young. People keep saying that the Costa Rican team is old. He's an ex-Cincinnati player. I think you're going to get something good from him. Aviedo, you know, he's experienced. He's 31. Yeah, they have a lot of players to choose from in defense, and I think even their midfield that people keep talking about, their midfield is still good. Yes, they have aging players like Borges, which is 33 years old, but he's still there in a good niche. Bessie Suarez, similar age. Dunk is older. So these guys are still valuable. Brian Ruiz, 35, very good as well as anyone. And you have Alan Cruz, which equally from Cincinnati. I think you can call upon them. So overall, their squad, I think the only problem areas I would say they have problems with, I think it's a direct striker line, because they have Joel Campbell that is a central forward, but he's a central forward, not really an out and out striker. And then you have Lear, which would add the wing depth, and equally as Joel Campbell the wing depth. So I think it's just a central target man or a link player they really truly need. I don't think Joel Campbell is that fully type of player, but he can do the job, you know. So that's the only thing I see with them problem wise. But they are very strong. They are stronger than what people give them credit for, to be honest. That's actually in my opinion still. Maybe I could be wrong, but let me know, guys, in the chat if I'm correct or if you saw it similar to me.
Yeah, and if you're watching on the re-upload, let us know what are your thoughts, if you agree with our analysis on the three teams. So now that we have broken down the weakness and strengths of the three teams, what are you expecting from Jamaica?
All right, then. I think it's going to run down to Jamaica picking the best squad. But remember, we saw problems that people saying that they should favor the guys that played over a stretch of friendlies, which I agree with, because continuity is always impressive. But if the gap between the guys that are playing is so vast, I think that continuity don't really matter. So I would go with the better players going into the squad and done. I think they can gel and still get good enough results. Maybe they won't be one of the favorites because that's realistic. If they do surprise us and get to the semifinals, whatever, that's nice. But they won't be one of the favorites coming into this with even the best squad, because the best squad don't have any gelling under their wings. They are going to try and get it on the fly. But they could gradually grasp the Concacaf and do better. So I think they are going to have a good name on paper, but let me see how they can get it together. That's what I'm worried about. But I don't expect the greatest from them. If they do reach the quarterfinals, the semifinals, I would be pretty proud, because they don't have any gelling. And we're talking about the best players on the pitch.
Yeah, and you touch on a very important point where gelling process, chemistry is concerned, and this has been a major factor. Most of us YouTubers who cover the CONCACAF or cover Jamaican content has been saying we need chemistry. And with Michael Antonio coming in, who wasn't a part of the friendly, Leon Bailey, who wasn't a part of the friendly due to injuries, and numerous others, first team players who weren't a part. Bobby Reed for one, Ethan Pinnock, these guys who we considered better players weren't a part of it. So I think that chemistry or the gelling process is going to be a big factor for us. And hopefully Coach Whitmore can influence these guys, and these guys use their professionalism to try to overcome the thing, the gelling process. So Jordan Heyman LFC saying DG, what's up? I'm good, Jordan. I'm very good, thank you for asking. So I think that we have covered pretty much most of the talking points, the strengths and weakness, and what are we expecting from all three teams. So my question is to you, JD. If you were to pick a combined 11 from all three teams, I'm going to put the formation up on the screen. I would like you and the guys in the chat, guys watching on the Reupload, also to get involved and help us create this combined 11 from all three teams in this group only, and then we'll move forward into the predictions.
Okay. For me, it's tricky because remember we always try to keep it fan friendly, you know. So people kept telling me about the Concacaf region, how much it's problematic and all sort of thing. If you don't play in it, you don't know how to play in it. You get me? So I factor that in my selection. So people that played over the years and got good enough success, I gave them a massive boost. So for instance, if an next player dropped to 67 and they are like 63, I would give them the advantage due to the fact that they know how to play in it. So at left back, it came down to three players, I would say. For left back, it came down for to Taxi, because I think that's our best left back for Jamaica. Red Sienna Apps for Suriname. And as I've told you before, I would go with Matarita for left back there. So to be honest, when I looked at all three of them game, I always put Apps first because he has defensive ability and he has attacking ability. And surprisingly, second, I would have actually put Matarita. Maybe Marlon would dispute this, I don't know. But Taxi would have came third in that selection. And that's how tight all of the guys them are. So I would put Ups in it. Ups came first and Matarita would be the backup for him and Taxi would come third if you're going to pick a third string left back. So, and over the left hand side, I would go with Ethan Pinnock. He played only once, and that was against United States. Obviously, he had a beautiful season, which is the second thing I took in account when I'm selecting players. The season that you have had overall, how much you play, the familiarity you're actually using in the situation. That means the Concacaf region, which he doesn't have much, and your overall ability. Well, he has one of the highest ability in all of the three teams. His season was the best out of all of the players then. And he only has one game that were pretty much subpar under his belt, but he has some experience. So that's why, because he's so dominant in 2 years, I had to give him that extra. So I went for Pinnock there. In the right side of centre back, it came down to a good amount of people. Liam Moore, Ryan Dunk. Not a load. I think he came down to 3. And then I went for Francisco Calvo from Costa Rica. Those are the 3 guys I went for. Gonzalez from MLS could have made it. He could have made it in, but I just stuck with Calvo. And it went down to two, which is Dunk and Liam Moore. Liam Moore had a solid season. He had a patch where he had an injury, and it showcased that his team weren't good enough without him. So he's highly dependable when he's on the pitch. So I like that style from him. But when I look at Dunk had a very good season, maybe one of his best. Yes, and maybe one of his last set of season where in which he's trying to prove himself, and he's doing it at a little bit higher level, I would say. I would consider it a little bit higher level, where in which he's putting out his displays. So that's why I had to give him the nod. He did have a few performances in the Concacaf region where in which he produced some very good performances, and then in the Canadian game, most people didn't perform well, but he was actually decent on the night. So Ryan Dunk got the nod over Liam Moore. In goal, it came down to Wanahan Marrera from Costa Rica, and then Andre Blake. And Andre Blake was the standout. Thought that he came back from injury and he played solid. Yes, he didn't feature in all of the games that the guys actually talk about. But that doesn't really mean much. He showcases display, and that's what I like. That's why I judge people's performance, their current form. That's why I judge it, because he's producing a very good performance for his team. Philadelphia Union, he's really putting in some eye-catching performances. So even though he didn't feature in those games, I still went and go for him over Han. Han didn't play much, but he featured in the wins for Suriname. But I just believe that he has much more reflex. Han passing his way better, but his reflex and his additional positioning in goal, I think Blake get it over him as the better goalkeeper. So Han back up, Blake in goal. Over the right hand side now, it was down to not so much, to be honest. It was down to Alvas Powell that ain't playing. He's just getting in that playing farm, so you can't even really rate him highly. You have a Wes Harding, to be honest, and then you have Dankalo, Ledam, and then you have Sean Kleber. Kleber didn't play so much for both country and club this season, but because of his past experience, you have to give him respect. And the matches he does playing was really good, and he was okay this season. Remember, you're coming up against Wes Harding and you're coming up against Alvas Powell. Alvas Powell didn't play in a game, so you can't compare him to no one. And so I would go with the two right backs would be Dankalo and actually Sean Kleber. So both of them would have came from Suriname. Top shutters. It really doesn't matter how much subs he has. At least you're a part of the sub, you know. Just leave your thoughts in the comment section, you know. Yes, so that's
I don't know if
my
I'm spelling his name right.
Kleber, Klaiber.
Okay, got him.
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
so the problem here is now in defensive central are areas, guys, keep in mind, it doesn't necessarily have to be a defensive central. You get me? It can be one central, but he's a much more of a box-to-box type player, and a CDM. It can be that way, and I think that's the way I will try and approach it. We said Kevin Stewart was going to be in the team, right?
Yeah, I wanted Kevin Stewart in the team.
I think we would have to go with Kevin Stewart, because out of all of these teams, you don't have any standout defensive centrals. So that's why I would have to go with I wanted to use Barges, but I don't know if what are your thoughts on that? I think I would put Barges in my team, you know. I would put him in my team, but I would have to find Kevin Stewart with him. I would actually put him with Kevin Stewart. Let me know if you guys are okay with that.
I would think in the same thing, because he's He's an good player as well. And you talk about experience and those things, so I think that he'll be very good to complement Kevin Stewart. So Lord for Reason is saying, big up Dalana and JD, just passing through. All right, big up Lord for Reason. Thank you for coming in.
Yeah, so Kevin Stewart is the defensive central in this team. So for the next spot, it was between Barges, which is solid, Malone is okay, but I would still put him in the conversation. If you're going to put Barges in it, you have to put Malone in the conversation. So and then you have Daniel Johnson. Would you go for Daniel Johnson above him?
I don't think so. I honestly don't think if we're going to put Daniel Johnson in the team, then maybe it will be Kevin Stewart who comes out. But I don't think that Daniel Johnson and Kevin Stewart should be both in the team.
Okay, then put Barges in the team then. I think he has the experience
What's
to
his
carry
first
the
name?
team over the line. Eh?
His first name.
Borges. You find him? Or you
Which
find
his
more than
first
one?
name? It's more than
Celso.
oh,
CELSO.
oh yeah
Celso Borges. Yeah, that's him. And then in attacking midfielder, surprisingly, we have Bessie Sward, very good creativity player. He plays for Suriname, as you know. He's getting older because he's in the 33 range. You have Daniel Johnson. You have Bobby Reed. You have Casey Palmer in that role. You have Brian Ruiz in that role. So it's kind of iffy. Bessie Suarez is very talented, but I think I would have to go with, and you could use even Kemar Roof. I think I would go with Kemar
yeah.
Roof in that attacking midfielder role.
Roof can play there as
Even
well.
without a game. Guys, remember the
Yeah.
policies I'm actually looking at in your ability, your skill sets that they do produce, which is drop deep, good passing, finishing if it comes to the test, your season that you had, which I think Roof had invincible in his season. That says it all. So his overall individual stats is pretty much impressive, close to, if not better than everyone else. So I think Roof made it in for me, in my opinion. Still,
Yeah.
that's just my squad. I would tweak. I wanted Brian Ruiz in it, but when I
Yeah,
looked
I
at
was
it,
going to put
I'm
him.
trying to
I'm
go with
putting
that
him
more.
in it
Yes, I'm trying to
for
go
a
with a
little bit
more winnable squad.
experience.
So I would go with Roof, and Bobby Reed would have
Okay.
made the close second for me.
Okay. So Top Shot is saying that he loves the lineup so far. That's very good.
Oh,
Top Shot.
so drop in Roof in that lineup then, and then let us see if they actually like it, and then tell me how it will do. I'm gonna add my bench to it as well, because I'm adding a strong bench. So not just winning the Gold Cup, but winning the qualifying for the World Cup as well. Easy. So over the right hand side, went for Leon Bailey because it weren't so much competition, to be honest. When it comes on to Leon Bailey, I think he's ahead of most of the guys inside. Not just his market value, but his overall play. His season that he had this season is solid. His team finished in a good enough position, and his individual stats was pretty much okay as well. So he didn't feature much this season, but I still went for him and give him the nod. Let me know if you guys okay with Leon Bailey making that side.
All right. So Marlon is saying that David Godsman, CDM, Oscar Durat, right centre back would be considered. Yeah. Goodsman, I think that he can be a choice too. That's a very good suggestion, Marlon. I think that he can be a very good. But who would he go in for? Kevin Stewart or Borges? Let me know. And would you drop Dunk and put in Oscar Durant?
Marlon picking his squad, you know. Yeah. Up front, Bailey made it in, and then the striker. It's pretty simple. It was between Vleta. Vleta is a young kid, just doing his trade in Jerusalem. But he did well in the Nations League. He had the golden boot, so you have to give him respect out here. And then you have Mikel Antonio. Didn't feature as much. No, he didn't feature that all for Jamaica. That's the first thing, right? And but his overall
Yeah.
season was good. He put in a very good season, pushing his team straight up to a Europa spot at least. So you have to give him respect in one of the toughest leagues in the world. Yep, and then his individual stats was pretty much good, better than everyone that we're going to compare him with. So he made it in hands down. Mikel Antonio.
Yeah. Okay, Antonio. Let me see. Not Antonio Rudiger.
Yes. So it's similar to the lineup that I've selected that day. Because over that side now, over the left hand side, it came down to a few guys which I do like.
Yeah.
Randall
Bobby Reed.
Leal, Bobby Reed, and Shara Lebecca. Even Joseph Son got into the mix. You have Jamal Lowe as
Joel
well.
Campbell as well.
Joel Campbell, Lord Joel Campbell. I actually like him as well. Joel Campbell's experience, you have to give him massive respect.
Alright,
Joel
so
Campbell,
top shot is
give massive respect. Liam Bailey, no, Jamal Lowe, good season as well, solid season. I think he had a brilliant season. He played and he had a good game against the United States. So he fit two of the mold. So I think he came down to Shara Lebecca. He played well in the few games he played in, even in the Canadian last. So he did well in the Concacaf region. He did okay coming back from injury for Union Berlin. So, and it's a higher competition. So let me know your guys. Shara Lebecca, Bobby Reed. Bobby Reed had an okay season as well, but he was an industrial player. And what you would like to accompany both of these guys, because when you're picking formations, and players, you have to make sure they actually accompany all the other parts as well. I think with the pace and power from both Bailey and Antonio, you think Bobby Reed will keep up with them? Because I
no, I
think
don't think so.
Jamal
I'm
Lowe,
more leaning towards Cheryl Becca, to be
Jamal Lowe or
honest.
Charlotte Beckham, I was leaning towards with their style of play.
So Top Shutter says he loves how we play Bailey on the right hand side, so he can cut in on his strong foot and get the ball into the box easily.
Well, you have a powerhouse inside the box already, so yeah. But I think Becca, I would go with Becca and put Lowe right behind it for me. Bobby Reed is very good, but I just believe that he's not a traditional winger. And if you're going to use him in that attacking midfielder wide role, he would best suited. But I think he comes down to Jamal Lowe or Cheryl Lebecca, and Cheryl Lebecca got the nod because he has been pretty much impressive for both club and country since returning. You get me? So we can't really say much. He delivered on the Concacaf stage instant after coming here, instant. And people of the Jamaican viewership always talk about what you did in the Concacaf. So if that's the case, he has to be in it. But let me know.
Yeah,
Still.
that's fair. That's fair. So looking at this current 11, how many Costa Ricans did make it in?
Just one. Wow. But on the bench, you would have Brian Ruiz on the bench. You'd have a good amount of players.
Yeah. So Marlon saying any front three, Joel Campbell would have to be a part of it. Bailey is the only winger better than him. So yeah, I think Marlon is disagreeing with your Cheryl Becca
Yeah, well,
analysis.
yeah. I'm just giving the specifications I've listed out. That's all I came to my conclusion. If Marlon wants to say that, I give Campbell the highest praise, the highest praise. But if we are
Yeah,
looking at it, we can actually bring up the individual stats and the team's performance this season, and that's what we are basing it on. Yes, Campbell has a very good CV when it comes on to the Concacaf region. I've talked about that last night on the video. So, I'm not out here trying to not give Campbell credit, but I just believe that Jamal Lowe and Shara Lebecca has that little bit extra now. Campbell is 29 years old. He's getting there. You get me? To keep up with these guys, I think you need the speed of Shara Lebecca and the trickery of him to link up with Antonio and Bailey. So maybe that's why I came with that idea. But if you have something else, no problem, no problem. I was just trying to make the team work. But I'd
yeah,
have no problem with Campbell in it as well. But I still would put Low above him, and I would put Shara Lebecca above him in this lineup.
yeah. For me, the only thing I would really change in this lineup really is Kemar Roof for Brian Ruiz. I just feel like we with his even though he's on the older side, I think that he still has enough quality playing in that attacking midfield role. So that's the only change I would make from this 11 really.
Okay, so Brian Ruiz. Okay, but I don't hear Marlon said anything about Brian Ruiz. So that's a surprising thing, And
Yeah,
obviously,
Marlon, let us know your thoughts on Brian Ruiz. If I should put him in or leave him out and put him on the bench.
I don't know why he's turning up now on his normal account when he turns up on his burner the other day. Yeah, he never said anything. Only on his burner he said what he's saying. It's okay, Mr. Marlon, big up yourself. Yep. But for my bench, I had a strong bench. I had a really strong bench. Remember, we were trying to pick 23. You have your
Yeah.
additional players. Let me hear your additional players.
No, I didn't get my additional players because I didn't think we were doing the bench, but
I went for Jamal Lowe as my additional player. Joel Campbell. Joel Campbell made it in on my bench
yeah,
as well. Yep. Bobby Reed made it on my bench.
Ravel Marson for me.
No. I hold out on Robert Morrison because I'm trying to make sure I have substitutions. So if I'm putting Bobby Reed in it, Daniel Johnson made it on my bench because he can play the deep line a little bit better to me, in my opinion. So that's for defense. I went for more in defense for me. More in defense. You can have yours, You can have yours. I'm just going for who I have. I placed
No Damien.
Dankalu and Dankalu. Dankalu and my defense. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 so far. For striker, we had Joel Campbell already as striker. Brian Ruiz for experience. All right, so you don't have anyone. You don't have anyone on the list. You're putting Damian Lowe in it.
Yeah, I had him on mine.
A Taxi Lawrence. I'm putting Taxi. Although Taxi came third in my listing because I went for Matarita. Marlon like him, Matarita on the bench as well.
So Marlon is saying here that he's watching the Jamaican Premier League, the Sunshine team playing.
Alan Cruz, I put on the bench as well. Alan Cruz. So I have a good amount of Andre Gray, yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. One more. And then Han as the backup keeper. And that's my 12. So that's my 23-man squad. That 11. And then we have Jamal Lowe, Jamal, J. Lowe, Joel Campbell, Bobby Reed, Daniel Johnson, Liam Moore, Dankalo, Brian Rees, Taxi, Matarita, Alan Cruz, Andre Gray, and Han. I think that's a good lineup in it. Yes, we can put. We could have put a
Yeah,
few other guys. Ravel Morrison, as what you said you want.
yeah,
In yours.
yeah,
Damian Lowe in yours. Yeah,
yeah.
but
He's in mine as and Goatson.
okay. Well, none of these guys made it in for
So
me.
Marlon is saying Baby Tank better than
Baby
Alan
Tank better
Cruz.
than Alan Cruz? No, but Alan Cruz ain't playing striker. You're using Alan Cruz as a striker. Baby Tank is a striker, you know? So that's my problem. I abuse Alan Cruz as central.
All right. So since that we have covered the most of what we came here to speak about, I think that it's time to move in to the predictions for for the Jamaica versus Suriname and Suriname versus Costa Rica games. Start. So we're going to start
Mm-hmm.
off with Jamaica versus Suriname. What are your predictions?
Prediction? It's hard for me to have a prediction on this. Jamaica doesn't have a squad as yet. So you can have a prediction. I saw what I saw from Suriname, which I told you that 10 players out of 11 is solid, but I've shown you what I like because Campalios and those guys coming in, I think later they have something to prove. So that will add the younger Onga to the team. So maybe they might come out strong, but the Jamaican team, we don't really know. If it's a Jamaican team that Mr. Waite wanted to put in, Suriname would have been heavy favorites. But if it's the full strength Jamaican team, Jamaica should be the favorites, even if they have lack of chemistry. I know the lack of chemistry would bring it closer, but Jamaica should be the favorites with the best team. But we don't know, so I can't make a prediction on that. To be honest, I might
Yeah,
maybe can
that's
talk about Costa Rica, Suriname because we know both of the squads. Then,
yeah,
like,
that's
oh,
fair. So since we are not involved with the Jamaica versus Suriname, so let's move over to the Costa Rica versus Suriname, and then we can close out the show.
for me, the Costa Rica, the Costa Rica Suriname game will go down as a very good technical game. I strongly believe so. I think it's gonna go down as a very good technical game. I think Suriname might go 3 at the back. If they're gonna go 4, they are gonna add Malone to the 4, and I think that's going to make it not the best or fluid back 4. So it's going to make the game a little bit open. And it could turn out to be end-to-end football, where in which I think Suriname should have the extra additional legs due to the fact that Yusuf Son and Cheryl Labeka is pretty speedy. And I would have actually went for Vlater over Asabank. To be honest, I wouldn't maybe think I would have added Vlater in that mix. So I think it would be a tight game. I would look for a 1-1 draw in that game. Costa Rica versus
Wow.
Suriname. I think it would end up in a 1-1 draw, but it would be a very technical, good battle to watch. I would love to see that game.
Yeah, same. Me, well, I was going for a Suriname win. I think that Suriname will just be, despite not having the full team that they expected, but we while Costa Rica do have good players in the defensive region, I just feel like they're missing out in key areas, the attacking area in which you pointed out earlier, and the fact that Kyla Navas is out too. So I'm edging for a Suriname win, maybe 2-1 victory to Suriname. Guys, if you're watching on the re-upload, do remember to hit the like button, subscribe, go over to JD's channel if you're new here. Go over there, show him some love as well, and give your thoughts on the lineup that is on the screen here, and give your predictions. Leave your predictions if in the chat box if you're watching live. If you're watching on the re-upload, leave your comments in the comment section below, and I will get to them. So this has been a very entertaining stream. I really enjoyed it. The guys who came in, Marlon, Top Shutter, Jordan, Jeshan, Lord for a Reason, these guys who came into the chat, big yourselves up. And JD who came on to give his analysis on things. Thank you for coming on. What are your final words before we close?
I think this group will actually be one of the toughest groups. So I think the Gold Cup will have some entertaining matchups, and it's not going to be predictable. Mexico is the favorites, but I don't believe it's going to be a smooth sail for Mexico if they are going to win it. I think it's going to be very tough. Even Mexico's group will be very tough. So let's see how it plays out, but it's going to be an entertaining one, and we will be around to detail it the fair way.
Yeah. So do look out for those previews and match analytical breakdowns from I'll maybe join JD on his watch along if he's covering the Suriname versus Jamaica content. So do look out for those videos. I have videos coming out sometime this week, so you guys can stay tuned for that very entertaining stream. Remember to like, share, subscribe. This has been DG Football. Remember, keep